Hello, welcome to Biology, the Science Study of Life. Research method using the TR plasmid produce transgenic plants. Application. Genes conferring useful traits such as pest resistance, herbicide resistance, delayed ripening, and increased nutritional value can be transferred from one plant variety or species to another using the TR plasmid as a vector. Technique. Notice that when the TI plasmid is isolated from the bacterium Agrobacterium tumefaciens, the segment of the plasmid that integrates into the genome of host cells is called ttDNA. Notice that. Stage 2 isolated plasmids that form DNA containing a gene of interest are incubated with the restriction enzyme that cuts the middle of tDNA. After base pairing occurs between the sticky ends of the plasmids and four DNA fragments, DNA ligases or ligase is added. Some of the resulting stable recombinant plasmids contain the gene of interest. Note the second step, or the recombinant plasmids can be introduced into cultured plant cells by electroporation, or plasmids can be returned to Agrobacterium, which is then applied as a liquid suspension to the leaves of susceptible, notice that, plants, infecting them. Once a plasmid is taken into a plant cell, its tDNA integrates into the cell's chromosomal DNA. The results, notice that transformed cells carrying the transgene of interest can regenerate complete plants that exhibit the new trait conferred by the transgenes or transgene. Destructive microbes and insects have reduced the need for chemical insecticides. Genetic engineering also has great potential for improving the nutritional value of crop plants. For instance, scientists have developed transgenic rice plants that produce yellow rice grains containing beta carotene, and which our body uses to make vitamin A. This golden rice could help prevent vitamin A deficiency in the half of the world's population that depends on rice as a staple food. Currently, large numbers of young children in Southeast Asia suffer from vitamin A deficiency, which leads to vision impairment and increases susceptibility to disease. In a novel twist, the pharmaceutical industry is beginning to develop farm plants analogous to farm animals. Although natural plants have long been sources of drugs, researchers are now creating plants that make human proteins for medical use and viral proteins for as vaccines. Several such products are being tested in clinical trials, including vaccines for hepatitis B and an antibody produced in transgenic tobacco plants that interferes with the bacteria that cause tooth decay. Large amounts of these proteins might be produced more economically by plants than by cultural cells. Safety and ethical questions raised by DNA technology. Early concerns about potential dangers associated with recombinant DNA technology focused on the possibility that hazardous new pathogens might be created. What might happen, for instance, if cancer cell genes were transferred into bacteria or viruses? To guard against such rogue microbes, scientists developed a set of guidelines that were adopted as former government regulations in the United States and some other countries. One safety measure is a set of strict laboratory procedures designated to protect researchers from infection of engineered microbes and to prevent the microbes from accidentally leaving the laboratory. In addition, strains of microorganisms to be used in recombinant DNA experiments are genetically crippled to ensure that they cannot survive outside the laboratory. Finally, certain obviously dangerous experiments have been banned. Today, much public concern about possible hazard centers not on recombinant microbes but on genetically modified GM organisms used as food. In common language, a GM organism is one that has acquired by artificial means. One or ample have been genetically modified by addition of a more active salmon growth hormone gene. However, the majority of the GM organisms that contribute to our food supply are not animals but crop plants. Some countries have been wary of the GM revolution, with the safety of the GM foods and possible environmental consequences of growing GM plants being the major concerns. In 1999, for instance, the European Union suspended the introduction of a new GM crops pending a new legislation early in 90. Negotiators from 130 countries, including the United States, agreed on a biosafety protocol that requires exporters to identify GM organisms present in bulk food shipments and allows importing countries to decide whether the products pose environmental or healthy risks. Advocates of a cautious approach toward GM crops fear that transgenic plants might pass their new genes to close relatives in nearby wide areas. We know that lawn and crop grasses, for example, commonly exchange genes with wild relatives via pollen transfer. If crop plants carrying genes for resistance to herbicides, diseases, or insect pests of pollinated wild ones, the offspring might become superweeds that are very difficult to control. Another possible hazard suggested by one laboratory-based study is that a transgene encoding a pesticide type protein might cause plants to produce pollen toxic to butterflies. However, scientists with the Agricultural Research Service concluded from a 2-year study that butterflies were unlikely to be exposed to toxic levels of pollen. As for the risks to human health from GM foods, some people fear that the protein products of transgenes might lead to allergic reactions, although there's some evidence that these allergic reactions or that this could happen. Advocates claim that these proteins could be tested for their ability to cause allergic reactions. Today, governments and regulatory agencies throughout the world are grappling with how to facilitate the use of biotechnology in agriculture, industry, and medicine, while ensuring that new products and procedures are safe. In the United States, such applications of biotechnology are evaluated for potential risks by various regulatory agencies, including the Food and Drug Administration's Environmental Protection Agency, National Institute of Health, and Department of Agriculture. These agencies are under increasing pressure from some consumer groups. Meanwhile, these same agencies and the public must consider the ethical implications of biotechnology. Completions of the mapping of the human genome, for instance, raises significant ethical questions. How should have the right to examine someone else's genes? How should that information be used? Should a person's genome be a factor in suitability for a job or eligibility? For instance, ethical considerations as well as concerns about potential environmental and health hazards will likely slow some applications of biotechnology. There is always a danger that too much regulation will stifle basic research and its potential benefits. However, the power of DNA technology and genetic engineering, our ability to profoundly and rapidly alter species that have been evolving for millennia, demands that we proceed with humility and caution.